Hi, today I'm going to talk about rates of change and how to calculate them. Here I have data from Australia on the deaths per million people from firearms each year in the years 1995 to 2004. We have the data shown on the table, and we have a time plot shown on the right. We can see that the death rate from firearms went up and down. Overall, the general trend was down. The rate of change in this situation would tell us how fast the firearm murder rate is changing. The units for the rate of change would be deaths per million people, the Y variable, per year, the units of the X variable. Now, if we want to calculate the rate of change in the years 1995 to 1996, we have to look at how much the death rate changed in those 2 years. We can see from the table it increased 2.2 deaths per million people. And we see that it did that in 1 year. If you look at the graph, we can see on the graph how much it went up and how much time it took. Those distances on the graph match up with the calculations from the table. As with any rate, we divide 2.2 deaths per million people per year. To figure out the rate of change from 1995 to 2004, we have to again see how much the murder rate has decreased. We can see that it has gone down. So we calculate, we subtract. It decreased about 1.6 deaths per million people, and we can see in the graph the arrow showing it went down that much. And we look at the number of years that have passed. 9 years, which we can also get by subtracting 2004 minus 1995. And again, we can see that represented in the graph as well. And then we divide. Negative 1.62 deaths per million divided by 9 years gives us about negative 0.18 deaths per million people per year. Let's review that calculation. We found the change in the murder rate by subtracting. The 2004 murder rate, which was 1.59, minus the 1995 murder rate, which is 3.21. That goes in the numerator of our rate. Then we found the number of years by subtracting 2004 minus 1995. That goes in the denominator of our rate. Then we subtract. That comes out again to negative 1.62 deaths per million in 9 years, about negative 0.18 deaths per million per year. Now, we can look at this a little bit more efficiently as well. We don't really need all of the information in the table. I just need 2 points. And I can represent the 2 rows in the table we used as points. Those are the coordinates of those 2 points. And those are the coordinates that would have been marked in the graph. The formula, when we look at it this way, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's treating this point, the 2004 point, as point number 2. So we would call this x2, and this is y2. And then this would be x1, comma, y1. And then we just substitute those into the formula, which is exactly what we just did. We subtracted 1.59 minus 3.21, the y values, and divided by the difference in x values. And that's how you calculate a rate of change. Thanks.